Hi everyone, how's it going? We'll look at where to stay in Rio de Janeiro, best neighborhoods and beaches, safest and most dangerous areas, and hotel tips in prime locations. The three main areas to stay in Rio are the South Zone, where you'll find Copacabana, Ipanema, LEBLON, Leme, São Conrado, Botafogo, and Flamengo. The Central Zone, where you'll find downtown, Lapa, Santa Teresa, Santos Dumont Airport, the Olympic Boulevard, and Porto Maravilha, and the West Zone, where you'll find Recreio dos Bandeirantes, Barra da Tijuca, the Olympic Park, and Rio Centro. These 18 numbers you see here on the map are the hotels we're going to look at throughout the video, offering options for every type of trip, from lively hostels to resorts with extensive leisure facilities, including activities for children. The list with links to these 18 hotels, so you can check prices, see photos, and read guest reviews, is available through the QR code appearing on the screen, as well as in the video description and the first comment. We also have another list with the top 5 budget hotels in Rio de Janeiro. These are very simple, budget-friendly hotels, but they're well located, close to metro stations or BRT, which is the express bus that makes it easier for you to get around the city. The list with these 5 budget hotels is also available through the QR code on the screen, as well as in the video description and the first comment. So let's start with the South Zone, which is the main area to stay in Rio de Janeiro. The South Zone is where the most famous beaches in Rio are Copacabana and Ipanema. This whole area is an upscale, touristy, and quite safe region, the safest areas in Rio de Janeiro. It's a region with a strong police presence. But since Rio de Janeiro is a big city, you should always be careful with your belongings and valuables. Don't show them off while walking on the streets, on the beaches, or even during tours. So let's take a look at accommodation number 1, which is in Copacabana. So accommodation 1 is here, and the Copacabana neighborhood covers this whole area, and the beach is about 5 kilometers long, with part of it in Copacabana and the continuation here being Leme Beach. Okay? So it's the most famous beach in Rio, with the largest number of hotels in the city, a wide hotel infrastructure, and it's also the stage for various shows and Rio's New Year's Eve celebration, one of the most famous in the world. So accommodation 1 has an amazing location to stay in Rio because it's right here on the border of Copacabana and Ipanema. So you can easily get around here, both in Copacabana and Ipanema, which are the 2 most famous beaches and neighborhoods in the city. Let's take a look at accommodation 1. It's the ORLA Copacabana Hotel, a 4-star hotel, rated 8.5 on Booking, and it's located on Avenida Beiramer, right in front of Copacabana Beach, okay? So the hotel has a pool here on the rooftop, on the top floor. So, Copacabana is a very populated neighborhood, a large neighborhood, with a wide infrastructure of commerce, services, bars, and restaurants. Atlantic Avenue and Beiramer Avenue. It's a very wide, very long avenue that runs along the entire beach to Praia do Leme, which is at the end. Here, look, a view of Sugarloaf Mountain and Copacabana Beach is a beach with a very wide strip of sand. It has a boardwalk, a bike lane, kiosks along the boardwalk, and also beach tents to serve the bathers. So this hotel is right in front of the sea in Copacabana, with an amazing location. It's not a luxury hotel, okay? It's a hotel for those looking for good value for money, and it's located here on the right end of Copacabana Beach, close to the Copacabana Fort, which is one of the main attractions in the area, where there's a branch of the Colombo Cafe, which is quite famous here. So, it's a hotel with an amazing location for anyone looking for good value for money in Copacabana. But of course, the prices are going to be higher here because of the excellent location and the fact that the hotel is right in front of the sea. The links to the hotels we're going to see throughout the video are in the QR code that's showing on the screen, as well as in the video description in the first comment. So you can check the prices and get more information about the hotels. Let's move on to the second accommodation, still in Copacabana. So it's located here, but it's in the interior of the neighborhood, okay? And this is actually a really good spot because the subway line runs through the interior of Copacabana. So there are several subway stations here inside the neighborhood, which makes it easier for you to get around Copacabana, as well as to Ipanema and even the neighborhoods out in the West Zone. The subway even goes all the way to Barra da Tijuca. In the other direction, the subway heads toward downtown Rio de Janeiro, where most of the historical and cultural attractions are located. So, by staying here in the interior of Copacabana, you'll find more affordable hotels, a more budget-friendly atmosphere, with cheaper bars, restaurants, and shops. Plus the convenience of being able to use the subway to get around. Let's zoom in a little bit here. So, accommodation number 2. Look, it has a really great location, very close to a subway station, about 3 blocks from the beach. And right here is also Praia do Lido, which is one of the departure points for vans that go up to Christ the Redeemer. So it's an amazing location for you to stay. The Copacabana Palace, which is the most famous hotel in Rio de Janeiro and in Brazil, is also located in this area. And here, look, is the border between the neighborhoods of Copacabana and Leme, okay, which is right here at this point. And it's the IBIS Copacabana POSTO 2, a more affordable 3-star hotel, rated 8.2 on Booking. So this is a hotel for those looking for the best value for money in the most affordable location to stay in Copacabana, which is in the interior of the neighborhood. So now let's move on to the third accommodation on our list, which is here in the Leme neighborhood. So here is accommodation number 3. And this stretch of the beach is known as Praia do Leme, and it has a calmer atmosphere than Copacabana, even though it's a continuation of Copacabana, but you'll be in a more peaceful environment, okay? Including the beach itself, there are a bit fewer bathers than in Copacabana, and it's a really nice, cozy neighborhood. There are also options for shopping, dining, bars, and restaurants. And here, with a short taxi or ride app trip, you can get to the main areas of Copacabana. You can also come here to the Riachuelo shopping mall, which is one of the biggest in the South Zone. And Sugarloaf Mountain is also really close by for you to visit. So it's a great location for you to explore this whole area. And Copacabana and Ipanema are among the best locations for you to stay in Rio de Janeiro and be able to explore the whole city. So let's check out accommodation number 3. It's the WINDSOR Leme Hotel, a 4-star hotel rated 8.9 on Booking, and it has a rooftop pool. This pool is heated. This is Leme Beach. This little corner of Leme Beach. It's a well-rated hotel, pool, sauna, gym, bar, restaurant, and a rooftop bar. So the bar up here on the rooftop is really cool. So here is Leme Beach, and right after it is Copacabana at the end, with a really wide stretch of sand, the Beira-Mar Avenue, and a boardwalk with kiosks. So it's an amazing location for you to stay in Rio de Janeiro. Now we're going to the 4th accommodation, which is already here in Ipanema. So Ipanema is a neighboring district to Copacabana and has a more charming, more sophisticated, more upscale vibe than Copacabana, and it's also more compact. Ipanema is located between the sea and the Rodrigo de Freitas Lagoon. And continuing along Ipanema Beach, you'll find the neighborhood and beach of LEBLON. Ipanema has far fewer hotels than Copacabana, which is why the prices are even more inflated. The neighborhood has 2 metro stations, one at this point and another here, plus 2 more in LEBLON. So it also makes it easier for you to get around Ipanema, LEBLON, Copacabana, and even downtown, and in the other direction, all the way to Barra da Tijuca in the West Zone. And the 4th accommodation area is in the part of Copacabana known as ARPOADOR. So this corner of Copacabana Beach is known as ARPOADOR Beach. Here is the ARPOADOR Rock, which is really famous for watching the sunset. And here you're also right on the border between Copacabana and Ipanema, making it easy to get around between the 2 neighborhoods. The 4th accommodation is right in front of the beach here, and about 400 meters away from a metro station. Let's look at hosting for here. And it's the ARPOADOR Hotel, a 4-star hotel, rated 8.6 on Booking. And Hotel ARPOADOR is a boutique hotel, recommended for couples, for those who want a more cozy experience. It faces Ipanema Beach. Here is Two Brothers Hill. Look, Ipanema Beach also has a Beira-Mar Avenue. So the hotel has a pool, a bar, a restaurant, and a massage room. Here, look, I believe this building here is the ARPOADOR Hotel. Here is Ipanema Beach, and in the background, Christ the Redeemer. So Ipanema and Copacabana are in a good spot to visit Sugarloaf Mountain, Christ the Redeemer, and explore the South Zone. Still in Ipanema, towards the Central, in a fantastic location, accommodation 5 is 1 block from the beach and 1 block from the subway station. So let's check out accommodation number 5. It's El MISTI Hostel Ipanema, rated 8.7 on Booking, and it's a hostel with both private and shared rooms. It has a bike station here so you can rent a bike ride in front of the hotel. Here's an option for a private room. It has a bar, okay? It has a lively atmosphere, offers parties, tours, and activities for guests to interact. So it's a great option for those who want a lively environment, to meet people from all over the world, and be in an excellent location. And continuing with our list, the next neighborhood next to Ipanema is LEBLON, but LEBLON has very few hotel options, okay? So we picked a hotel next to LEBLON on Vidigal Beach, a little less than a kilometer away from LEBLON Beach, the upscale area in Rio de Janeiro. It has a shopping mall here, which is Shopping LEBLON, located right on the border between LEBLON and Ipanema. There's a street here in LEBLON that's pretty famous, which is Rua Dias Ferreira, known for its high concentration of bars, restaurants, and lively nightlife. So this accommodation is really close to LEBLON and is a resort option. It's the Sheraton Grand Rio Hotel and Resort, a 5-star resort with an 8.4 rating on Booking. And its standout feature is that it's one of the only accommodation options in Rio de Janeiro that's right on the sand. It's right on the sand at Vidable Beach and is very close to Morro do Vidigal, which is a favela and also a tourist spot, okay? There are several tourist activities in this favela, and the Sheraton has a wide range of leisure facilities, including heated pools. There are also several options for bars and restaurants. There are also children's recreation activities. Look, there's a kids area, a really big kids space as well. Now we're going to talk about two neighborhoods that are in the transition area between the South Zone and the city center, which are Botafogo and Flamengo. These are two neighborhoods that belong to the South Zone, but are closer to downtown. They're neighborhoods where you can save on accommodation, with hotels much cheaper than in the Copacabana and Ipanema areas. They have metro stations that make it easy for you to get both to downtown and to the South Zone. And they're also very close to Sugarloaf Mountain, which is in this area, and to Christ the Redeemer, which is over here, in this spot. The train to go to Christ the Redeemer leaves from Cosme Velho, so you'll be really close here. And the other option to get to Christ the Redeemer is by van, which has a departure point here at Parque do Lido in Copacabana, which I mentioned earlier, and the other departure point is here at Largo do Machado in Flamengo. So Botafogo and Flamengo are two strategic neighborhoods for you to be in a good spot to explore Rio de Janeiro and save on accommodation. Let's start with Botafogo. So, look, accommodation number 7 has an excellent location. It's right here, and it's just 1 block from the Botafogo metro station and 1 block from Botafogo Praia Shopping. This area around the Botafogo metro station is known as Baixo Botafogo and has a high concentration of bars, restaurants, and lively nightlife. Another lively nightlife spot is the area around Rua Arnaldo Quintela, which also has lots of bars and restaurants. So Botafogo is a safe neighborhood with a really vibrant nightlife. The beach here in Botafogo isn't really sought after for swimming, okay? It was polluted for a long time, although lately the water pollution has decreased a lot, but even so, it's still not very popular for swimming and it's also a bit less safe at night, okay? For walking along the beach here. But overall, the neighborhoods of Botafogo and Flamengo are relatively safe areas for you to walk around during the day. But of course, you should always stay alert and avoid showing off valuables. So let's check out accommodation 7 in Botafogo, IBIS Styles Rio de Janeiro Botafogo, an affordable 3-star hotel with a rating of 8.1. It's an affordable option in Botafogo, close to the metro, shopping mall, and nightlife. You can do everything on foot. Here's the hotel, and in the background, you can see Christ the Redeemer. Let's move to hotel number 8 in Flamengo. Just 50 meters from the hotel, a metro station. This is Rua do Catete, which is a street with plenty of shops and also some bars and restaurants, okay? Here is Largo do Machado, which also has a metro station and is one of the starting points for vans going up to Christ the Redeemer. So, it's an amazing location. Flamengo Beach, which is right here, is much more popular than Botafogo Beach, okay? Stalls serve beachgoers, but it's a beach frequented by locals, not tourists. And here is the Atero do Flamengo, a large leisure area with options for sports activities. By staying in Flamengo, you'll be closer to downtown Rio in a budget-friendly environment. Let's check out accommodation 8. It's the Windsor, Florida Hotel, a 4-star hotel with an 8.7 rating on Booking. It's a comfortable hotel that has a pool, a restaurant, a bar, a gym, and offers much cheaper prices than the hotels in Copacabana or Ipanema. This is an option for you to save money here in Rio de Janeiro. Now we're going to move on to the neighborhoods located in the central zone of Rio de Janeiro. So, the Central Zone is a large area that includes several neighborhoods and is where most of the city's historical and cultural attractions are concentrated. Although it has some revitalized areas in Porto Maravilha and Boulevard Olímpico, which are safer and more renovated. But most areas in downtown here are more run down. Less safe, especially at night, because there are some areas here that are commercial and business districts, which are really busy during the day but become deserted at night. Lapa is also located here, which is the main nightlife area in Rio de Janeiro. I'll talk more about it in a bit, but the downtown area is the least safe place for you to stay in Rio de Janeiro, especially at night. During the day, you can get around this area if you take some precautions, okay? Most areas here are quite busy during the day, but it's a region with a more rundown atmosphere. There are quite a lot of homeless people here. The big advantage of staying downtown is that it's the cheapest area to stay in Rio de Janeiro and also the one with the best public transportation infrastructure. Santos Dumont Airport, which is Rio's domestic airport, is located here, and by staying downtown, you will also be closer to Galeão Airport, which is Rio de Janeiro's international airport, and that's here too. Other places that are also nearby include Maracana Stadium, which is in this area. The Sambadrome Marques de Sapucaí, where Carnival takes place, is around here, and the Cidade do Samba is also in this region. So let's start here with accommodation number 9, which is in Lapa. So the Lapa neighborhood is roughly this area here, something like this, and it's the main nightlife area in Rio de Janeiro. There's a huge concentration of bars and live music venues as well. The main area for bars and restaurants would be this region here, on Rua Mem de Sá and the parallel streets around here. There's a massive concentration. The Arcos de Lapa are located here. The Metropolitan Cathedral of Rio de Janeiro is here. The Celerin Steps are in this area here. The Santa Teresa tram leaves, crosses the Arcos de Lapa, and goes to the Santa Teresa neighborhood. So it's an area where you can find affordable hotels and a vibrant nightlife. Let's check out accommodation number 9. Social Hotel, Lapa, Rio de Janeiro, is a mix between a hotel and a 3-star hostel, rated 8.3 on Booking, and it offers a very budget-friendly option for you to stay here in the Lapa neighborhood, close to the main attractions and nightlife, with both private and shared room options. And now let's move on to accommodation number 10, which is right nearby. So it's right here in downtown Rio de Janeiro, in the area known as Cinelandia, which is the main theater district. There are several theaters in this area. There are also old movie theaters. It's an area with a more rundown atmosphere, okay? With budget-friendly hotels, it's a place you can walk around during the day if careful, but it gets dangerous at night. Not recommended to walk here at night. Hospedagem 10 is very affordable. It's the cheapest hotel on our list, just 1 block from the Cinelandia metro station, making it easy to get around downtown and to the neighborhoods in the South Zone. It's a block away from a VLT station, a tram throughout downtown Rio de Janeiro, all right? So you can get to the main attractions in the city center with the VLT, and also to Santos Dumont Airport, which is right next door. So let's check out Hospedagem 10. And now, Hotel OK. It's a 4-star hotel, rated 8.1 on Booking, and it's a pretty old hotel, okay? It's a very budget-friendly option. It has a small pool, a gym, and a restaurant, but it's quite an old and very affordable hotel. Still here in the central region of Rio de Janeiro, Hospedagem 11 is attached to Santos Dumont Airport, which is right here. That's the domestic airport of Rio. Right next to Hospedagem 11 is also the Bossa Nova Mall, which is a relatively small shopping center attached to the airport, but it has some stores and several options for bars and food. And both the mall and the hotel have spectacular views of Rio de Janeiro. There isn't a metro station here, but there is a VLT, light rail, station that serves the mall and the airport, where you can get around the entire downtown area of Rio and also come here to the Cinelandia metro station. The area around Santos Dumont Airport is a bit less safe, more rundown. It's not really a great place to walk around on foot in this area. Still here at accommodation 11, right next to the mall is the Uber space, which is the spot where you can order an Uber from the airport. So let's check out accommodation 11. And it's the Prodigy Santos Dumont by Wish, a 4-star hotel with an 8.4 rating on Booking, and it has a pool and a leisure area with an amazing view of Rio de Janeiro. Look, there's Sugarloaf Mountain. It's a hotel that has a pool, a gym, a bar, and a restaurant. Check it out. There are rooms with a view of Christ the Redeemer too. And still here in the central area, accommodation 12 is right in the heart of downtown Rio de Janeiro. It's on the corner of Avenida Presidente Vargas and Rio Branco, which is the main intersection in downtown Rio. It's really close to Central do Brasil station, which is the main train station in the city. It's near the Sambadrome, a bit closer to Maracana, which is over this way. This area here has a lot of office buildings. It's really busy during the day, but it gets empty at night and becomes quite unsafe. It's also an area that's not recommended for walking at night, only during the day. The Uruguaiana subway station is right nearby. And this area here, around Uruguaiana and also Sara, is the main hub for popular street shopping in Rio de Janeiro. Also nearby is one of the most historic parts of Rio, which is the Valongo area, a very old, historic region and also where Pedra do Sal is located, famous for its samba gatherings. The Cidade do Samba is located here. The Novo Rio bus station is here too, which is Rio de Janeiro's main bus terminal. And this whole area along the central waterfront is known as ORLA or the Olympic Boulevard, which is the revitalized part of downtown Rio de Janeiro. So it's a really cool area, safe, with police presence, and it has lots of attractions. The Museum of Tomorrow is here. The Aquario, which is the aquarium, is here. The UP Star Ferris wheel is here. And this is where the cruise ships dock. And here is the Etnia's mural, which is a very famous mural, the largest graffiti in the world. So it's a really pleasant area for you to walk around, to visit the attractions, and with several VLT stations that make it easy for you to get around this area. Hospedagem 12 is also very close by, less than a block from a VLT station, which makes it easy for you to get around this whole area and also the entire downtown area of Rio de Janeiro. Also close to Hospedagem 12 is the Banco do Brasil Cultural Center, which has several cultural attractions. The Candelaria Church is here, and so is Praça Quins, which is where the ferries to Niterói and also to Ilha do Governador depart from. And here is the Navy Cultural Space. And this whole area has countless historical and cultural attractions as well. Let's check out Hospedagem 12. The Windsor Guanabara Hotel, a 4-star hotel rated 8.6 on Booking, is the best hotel in downtown Rio de Janeiro. It's a hotel that has a pool, a gym, a bar, and a restaurant. And it's this building right here. So now let's move on to another hotel on our list. Let's go to Hospedagem 13. Hospedagem 13 is here, and this is the São CONRADO neighborhood, which belongs to the South Zone, but it's already close to the West Zone of the city, near Barra da Tijuca, which is this neighborhood right here. So it's located between LEBLON, Ipanema, and Barra da Tijuca. São CONRADO is an upscale, safe neighborhood. It has a metro station that makes it easy for you to get around in both directions. But there are few hotel options, okay? So it's a more residential neighborhood than a touristy one. Next to it is the Rocinha Favela, which is the most famous favela in Rio de Janeiro. So let's take a look at Hospedagem 13. It's the Hotel Nacional Rio de Janeiro, a 5-star hotel, which is one of the most famous hotels in Rio de Janeiro. It has a rating of 8.6 on Booking. The Hotel Nacional was designed by Oscar Niemeyer, Brazil's most famous architect, and its gardens by Burl Marx, so they are beautiful. It has a large pool area here and is right in front of the sea at São CONRADO Beach, with a spectacular view surrounded by several mountain peaks, okay? So it's a really big, famous hotel with a great leisure infrastructure. The pools are heated, it has bars, restaurants, and a large kids area. So it's an amazing hotel and one of the most beautiful locations for you to stay in Rio de Janeiro. And now we're going to come over here to the West Zone of the city, which is a really big area. Look, the West Zone is a huge region here, and it's the newest, most modern part of Rio de Janeiro, with beautiful beaches and home to many concert and event venues. But it's far from the main tourist areas of the city, which are the South Zone and the Central Zone. The main beach is about 18 kilometers long. It's a really long beach, and each section of it has its own name. Look, here is Pepe Beach, which is the trendiest stretch of the beach. Then there's Bar Beach here, and Reserva Beach, which is a more secluded area, okay, with a more natural beach. And to finish, there's Recreio Beach, which is here in Recreio dos Bandeirantes. Then over here, there's a series of deserted beaches that are among the most beautiful in Rio de Janeiro: Macumba Beach, Prainha, Abrico Beach, and Grumari Beach, okay? This area has beaches and natural parks. In the interior, you'll find the Olympic Park in Rio Centro, 2 places hosting major events, fairs, conferences, concerts, and sports events in Rio de Janeiro, including Rock in Rio. The main, most famous neighborhood in the West Zone is Barra da Tijuca, a really large area, see, right here, divided into several sections. So it's the trendiest neighborhood, and Hospedagem 14 is located right here in the main and most famous part of Barra da Tijuca, which is known as Jardim Oceânico, which is roughly this area here. So Hospedagem 14 is here, and the stretch of beach in Jardim Oceânico is known as Praia do Pepe, which is the most popular beach in Barra da Tijuca, in the West Zone, and also the busiest. It's the only part of the West Zone that has a metro station. So here is the Jardim Oceânico metro station, which makes it easier to get to neighborhoods in the South Zone, like Copacabana, Ipanema, and even downtown Rio. Right next to it is a BRT station, the express bus, to get to other neighborhoods in the West Zone, other parts of Barra da Tijuca, and also the Olympic Park, Rio Centro, and Recreio dos Bandeirantes. So let's check out accommodation 14 here, which is the Tropical Bar Hotel, a 4-star hotel with an 8.4 rating on Booking, and it's actually an older hotel, okay. And it's budget friendly, with a focus on affordability here at Pepe Beach. And here, look, accommodation 14 is really close to Avenida Olegario Maciel, which is the main nightlife spot in Barra da Tijuca, with a big concentration of bars and restaurants. This whole area of Barra da Tijuca is actually pretty safe, okay? But of course, you always have to be careful anywhere in Rio de Janeiro, right? When you're walking along the beach or around the neighborhood, don't show off valuables. Accommodation 15 is also here in the Barra da Tijuca area, which is known as Barra Beach. So it's a pretty large area, okay, where you have several high-end residential condominiums and an environment with some bars and restaurants, but in much smaller numbers than here in Jardim Oceanico, okay. And it's also not served by the metro. So it's a region with fewer public transportation options. The beach here is less crowded than in the area of Jardim Oceanico at Praia do Pepe. So let's look at accommodation number 15, which is the Windsor Oceanico Hotel, a 4-star hotel rated 8.9 on Booking, and a hotel that's very close to the sea. It's not right on the seafront, but even though it has a view, it's about 50 to 100 meters from the beach. It has a heated pool, okay? A hotel that's highly rated by guests. It has a gym, a bar, and a restaurant. So it's an excellent option here at Barra Beach in Barra da Tijuca in Rio de Janeiro. And now we're going to move on to accommodation number 16, which is located in the area of Avenida das Americas, a very long avenue that runs through the entire interior of Barra da Tijuca, connecting Barra da Tijuca to Recreio dos Bandeirantes and also providing access to the Olympic Park and Rio Centro. This area here has a lot of shopping malls, several large ones like Bar Shopping, Casa Shopping, there's America's Shopping over here, and many other smaller malls as well. It's an area with plenty of shops and restaurants, but it's not really recommended for walking around, okay? There are several BRT stations here you can use, the express buses to get around the area, but it's not served by the subway. Accommodation 16 is located inside a condominium, the Novo Mundo condominium, which is nice because you can use the condominium's leisure club right in front, and it's also very close to 2 small shopping malls. You can even walk there, a 400 or 500 meter walk to Rio Design Barra and Vogue Square. Vogue Square has good restaurants and bars, Bar do Zica Pagadinho. You can use a service provided by the condominium, the ferry transport, Reserva Beach. There's a ferry that crosses the Parmarapendi Lagoon, really cool. Let's look at accommodation 16. It's the Bourbon Residence, Barra da Tijuca, Rio de Janeiro. A 4-star hotel, rated 8.4 on Booking, so it's a somewhat old hotel, but it has the advantage of being able to use the club here in the condominium. Look, just cross the street, the hotel is here, cross the street, the club is here. And this club has a gym, really large swimming pools, a sauna, a bar, and the hotel also has a bar and a restaurant. Look, here's the ferry that crosses the lagoon. You can use this service, and here is Reserva Beach. Let's go to accommodation 17, which is right here in front of the Olympic Park, one of the main leisure and event areas in Rio de Janeiro. Look, the Jeunesse Arena, which is now called Pharmacy Arena, is right in front here and is a venue for concerts. Rio Centro is very close by. Here is Rita Lee Park, which is a really cool leisure area, and there are several sports complexes in this region. This area has BRT stations so you can get around the whole region, okay? There are also several shopping malls. The biggest one is Metropolitano Shopping. There's Uptown Barra, which is located here. Parque Jacarepagua, which is a mall with various leisure activities, is also in this region. But hotel prices here fluctuate a lot. During major events, prices get more expensive. When there are no events, hotel prices get really cheap, but you'll be far from the beach and far from the main attractions in Rio de Janeiro. Let's check out Lodging 17, the Dom Bar Hotel, a 3-star hotel with an 8.7 rating on Booking. It's a more budget-friendly option and is located right in front of the Olympic Park. We're heading to Recreio dos Bandeirantes, a neighborhood far in the West Zone, but it has beautiful beaches. Here's Recreio Beach and Pontal Beach, the most famous beach in the area. This is where you'll find the more secluded beaches I mentioned. Shopping and services are mainly on Avenida das Americas. Inside the neighborhood, there are several large shopping malls, like Bar World, which is a themed mall. Here you'll find Recreio Shopping, and America's Shopping is also located in this area. Along the waterfront, kiosks serve beachgoers, but it's an area with fewer options for shops and restaurants. Let's check out accommodation 18, the Say Design Hotel, a 4-star hotel rated 8.7 on Booking, and it's the best hotel in Recreio Bandeirantes. It's right in front of the Sea Praia do Recreio. So Praia do Recreio Beira-Mar Avenue. Here is Pedra do Pontal, the border of Praia do Pontal. Right after, several deserted beaches. The hotel's pool is heated. There's a pool bar, restaurant, gym, and kids area. It also has a unique design. So it's the best hotel in Recreio dos Bandeirantes, a great spot to explore this area, with the most beautiful beaches in Rio de Janeiro, but it's far from the city's main tourist areas and attractions. So use the links to check hotel prices. You can access them through the QR code on the screen, as well as in the video description and the first comment. So that was the video on where to stay in Rio de Janeiro. Take care and see you in the next video.